Hey gang, so I had a hell of an exciting weekend at Flame Festival on what is now, it used to be near Atlanta, but now it is kind of on the border of South Carolina. Especially because for the first time I got to make the acquaintance of a spinner who I've been following for quite a number of years now and who I really respect by name of Tim Goddard. Tim being one of those few individuals who actually actively plays around with toroids and is kind of like pushing the tech forward on that one. There's very few of us out there, but those of us who are out there, we usually have interesting things to talk about when we meet up. One of which is this idea that Tim has kind of put out there in a number of videos before, but I didn't really understand until I had an opportunity to sit down and chat with him at Flame, and that is the idea of a Tapedeck toroid. Now, in Tim's mind, what this really is it's combining together both two-dimensional spinning like we're used to, as well as these kind of flat lines that we're able to generate thanks to toroid movements. And what was really, really exciting is that we discovered that these toroids are actually something that we already know. They're the first really good use of probend that we have found. So first and foremost, let's break down what a Tapedeck toroid is. The very, very basic Tapedeck toroid comes from just turning your poi kind of clockwise like this, and as the poi is nearing the top of its arc, you're going to bring it around into a horizontal plane like that, into floor plane. As you draw it across your body, you're going to wait for this moment when it is nearing the side that is closest to you, that is furthest away from the camera right now, and when that happens, you're going to let it drop back into a vertical plane. And if you're keeping track here, you should notice that we're going from a place, whoops, where we're going clockwise to a place where we are also going clockwise, yes? So there is no direction shift on this one. Now, getting back, we're now going to wait until the poi is at the bottom of its arc, and again, we're going to push it away into a horizontal, into a floor plane kind of place, where it is going to be turning clockwise. If you look down on it from above, it's going to be beneath your hand. And of course, as it's coming around to the right-hand side of your body, you're going to wait for that point when the poi is basically closest to your backside as possible. And you're going to bring it back up into a vertical place, once again in a clockwise kind of place. So the rule we wind up with is clockwise, and then looking down it from above, this would be a counterclockwise place. We drop it into clockwise once again. We drop it into clockwise as we look down on it. And finally, we bring it back into a vertical clockwise place. So if you wanted to, you could do this with grace beats like we've done with anti-bend for such a long time. You say get 1, 2 beats, draw it across, 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 right? Or you could just go straight between them, like so. And it's for this that Tim gives it the name Tapedeck, because he is actually old enough to remember what a tape looks like. Which, as it turns out, there are many of you out there who are not old enough to remember what tape decks look like. The long and the short of it is that it's 2 circles with lines connecting them at their tops and bottoms, right? Now, the other cool thing that we can do with this is, rather than take it what looks like from an in-spin kind of direction when we're in floor and, well, really when we're in floor plane both above the hand and below the hand, we can instead take it from an anti-spin kind of place. And this, of course, kind of reverses the directions that we've been playing with, where this time we're waiting for the point where the poi is coming at you on the bottom, and when that happens, we're going to pull it forward. If we look down at it from above, it's going clockwise. And then, of course, as we are drawing it across our bodies, we're going to push it out back into a clockwise place, either in front of the hand or behind the hand, yeah? And again, when we're going for the top side, we're waiting for that point when it's at the apex of its movement. And as it's coming back at us, we draw it into floor plane above the hand, and then we draw it across and just let it drop, yeah? So this winds up being a movement more like this. Whoops, I switched direction there. That was my bad. This one's a little bit more challenging, I find. God damn it, I did it again. But still, nonetheless, pretty cool. And this one I actually feel looks more like a tape deck, but that's just me. Alright, so what does this have to do with probend toroids? Well, as it turns out, everything. These Tapedeck toroids are actually probend, basically two-lobed probend toroids. Those of you who are familiar with this concept from my previous videos, and from those of you who aren't, you should go check those out on my YouTube channel. We know that we're dealing with a place where we're kind of going between four positions, where we've got it in a buzzsaw place, where we've got it in a floor plane kind of place over on the right-hand side, another vertical buzzsaw place, and a floor plane kind of place over here on the left side, right? But here's the trick, is that in order to get between them, we're no longer using that bend across the center that we would if it were an iso bend. We're actually using a real quick wall plane bend. So as it's dropping down on the outside, we switch to wall plane, and as it's coming back up, we pull it around into floor plane, right? So here's the thing, if you're paying attention to how the Tapedeck toroids are built, it's this exact same idea. It's just that we've, ironically enough, done the opposite thing of how we got to toroids, where we were playing around with just walking around in a circle, doing kind of a buzzsaw shape, and then we brought that into a vertical place to give ourselves iso bend. Instead, we're now taking an idea that we pioneered in a wall plane kind of place, and we're putting it in a more horizontal kind of deal. So essentially, if we plop this over on its side, you would get a Tapedeck toroid, yeah? You would get the same kind of thing, where we would have moments where it would look like it's in a vertical plane like this, and then we'd bring it around in what would look like a straight line, and we'd bring it around in what looks like a straight line, we'd bring it around in what looks like a straight line, bring it around in what looks like a straight line, yeah? The only difference is really that we're only going between 2 points, right? We're kind of stretching out that point in between until we can get to the other side of our body, which, of course, 9 times out of 10, simplicity is what looks the most beautiful. So in the end, we can now drill this in places where we're dealing with timing and direction kind of places, right? Where we say want to go together same, around, or haven't actually drilled this yet, but we could always try doing it in together opposite, in which case we're dealing with something more like this. And that, oof, that sucks. The one I've drilled more is split opposites. So something that's going to work a little bit more like this. And of course you can just go straight back and forth between the sides like this. And it's going to take quite a bit of training to get that plane in a flat kind of place, right? And once again, we can of course take this from a anti-spin kind of place if we so choose, in which case we're dealing with something, hang on, I started this off on this side before, so I'm going to keep it that way, more like this. And of course we can also take this into a vertical place. Let's say, I wanted to deal with a Tapedeck where my round parts are on the top and the bottom, and still playing around with anti-spin, in which case I wind up with this shape right here, where essentially on the bottom and the top, I'm in clockwise in wall plane, and when I go to either of the sides, I'm automatically switching it into a wheel plane kind of place, and just essentially doing a single anti-spin pedal in both. And of course, can drill this in split up. Again, some training of the planes will be necessary. Or in, sorry, that was together up. This will be split up. And there are parts in here that feel almost like it should be stalling, but it doesn't quite. Yeah, so, new toroids to drill. And these ones I actually think look pretty good. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with some more Tapedeck toroid stuff for you. Peace. Hi, thanks so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Doing so will help other people find my content, and it lets me know that I'm creating videos that are worth seeing. Also, check out my website at drexfactor.com. There, you can purchase sets of poi like the ones I use in my videos, and get access to a great range of written inspirational content. plus which you can subscribe to my videos there in the form of a podcast. Finally, if you go to flowtoys.com, you can enter in my special promo code and get a small discount on your order. Doing these things helps support me in my flow journey, and it means that I can make more videos for you guys. So, thank you in advance for your support.